been a lot of big news the last 24 hours. I was just scrolling through Twitter and I was seeing all the retweets and everything. How is
Yeah,
everybody receiving the news, the big news?
yeah, everybody's been receiving it really well. Super excited about that. I'm not on Twitter, so I'm not not exactly sure what's going down, but from all my friends and everything, it seems like the news has been received really well. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's get started then. So I'm Tabitha, by the way. I'm one of the Dreams color analysts.
Nice to meet you, Tabitha.
And it's so exciting to have you here with us. I was excited to hear about the hire as well. And I guess first and foremost, how did the role come about? How did this all come to fruition?
Well, I mean, I think throughout my career, I've built up a pretty good reputation for who I am and what I represent. And so when the Dream started their coach hunt and search, my name may have came up a couple times, and we went through the process just like I'm sure they went through the process with anybody else, with reaching out, preliminary talks, and obviously they went through Vegas and asked if they can interview me and talk to me, and we had face to face, and it went pretty well.
So you had a 13-year playing career. You retired back in 2019, but playing so long with so many different teams. You were drafted back in 05. You won a championship with Seattle. How do you see your experience helping the Dream when it comes to on the court?
Yeah, you know what? You're exactly right. It seems like I played with so many different teams. I mean, I have, but I haven't, right? Played 10 years in Seattle, another 3 years with New York, and 1 year with Minnesota. But I think it'll help in a way that I've been able to play underneath some of the best coaches our league has ever seen, right? You talk about Ann Donovan, Brian Agler, Cheryl Reeve, and even Katie, as a player, had tons of success, right? So being able to draw from all those different coaches, their coaching styles, the things that they emphasize, all those different things, I believe that I'll be able to take those little tidbits and really implement it into my coaching style as well.
Now, I with a team like the Dream, you were a 4-time defensive, first team all defensive team honoree in the W. With a team like the Dream, who has been leading the league in steals, but one of the top teams in steals, I can kind of see your lips, chopping over there. With you being so defensive minded, how can you, what are you most looking forward to implementing and improving upon when it comes to the Dream's defense this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think it'll have to be a mesh of both sides, right? Both sides of the ball. Obviously, that's going to be the, I guess, storyline for a lot of these headlines and stories, is that I'm so defensive minded and my defensive acumen and different things like that. And of course, I think mostly what I'll bring to that side of the ball is just the toughness, right? Like the mental toughness, the competitive, because when you think about defense, that's what it's really about, right? It's the competitive nature that you bring to the floor every single night. So that's something that I'll continue to emphasize, because I think that that's important. A competitive team, a mentally tough team, all those different aspects, I'll definitely continue to emphasize and try to expand upon whenever we get started.
Now, when we talk about mental toughness, we were also talking about who you were an assistant under when it comes to coaching. And coming from Vegas, NBA great Bill Laimbeer, that's a tough coach to be an assistant up under. When it comes to mental toughness, what did you take from being his assistant, going so deep into the playoffs with Vegas? And how can you transfer that over to Atlanta when it comes to that mental toughness and what you took away from Bill Laimbeer?
I think that's a skill that just needs to be worked on, right? Putting your team in competitive situations that builds that skill of being mentally tough, right? Not making things easy all the time, right? Putting them in just situations that they have to continue to lean on that in order to be successful. So I think that that's something that we'll try to implement and we'll try to work through throughout our training camp and throughout practices and different things like that. As far as I think being around Bill, I mean, people say like, "Oh, he's such a tough." He really is a, a teddy bear when it comes to the players. You know what I mean? He's a players coach. He gets a lot of input from the players and different things like that. So I think that that's one aspect that I'll be able to bring as well. It's one thing that I obviously learned from him, playing under him and coaching under him as well.
Maybe he just appears to be a tough coach. He gives off that facade.
It's the bad boy nature. It's the bad boy persona back in the day that he gets, um, he gets tagged on with, and it gets stuck with him. But for the players, he really is easy to work with. He gets a lot of input from his players.
So you retired back in 2019, right?
Correct.
So there are still players in the league who you played with and against, who are still currently playing today. How has that been, changing that lens from a player to a coach? And then also, do you miss the game? Do you miss getting out there and if somebody's not doing something right, you wish you could just jump in there?
Yeah.
Like, how has that been?
I think one way that has helped me is throughout the end of my career, towards the end of my career, I think I started to transition into this sector, right? Into this role in terms of being more of a mentor on the court for younger players, right? And just basically assisting and helping. Because I think coaching, that's really what it is. It's just like pointing things out and being able to see different things and really assist and help the players to allow the game to be easy for them, right? And so towards the end of my career, I kind of took on that role as more of a mentor player. And so that has helped me, I think, lead me into this role. And then obviously going into coaching at UNC Charlotte and having, my head coach there really mentor me and help mold me into, I think, the coach that I am today. So I've kind of been transitioning towards this role. And, every once in a while, of course, you miss it. You're competitive. I'm competitive. I mean, that's the one thing people definitely know about me, is that I was a competitive player. So I miss it at times. But I think moving into the coaching role still gives you that competitive nature, going against and competing and strategizing and different things like that. Every once in a while, I can still get out there and run a couple reps, not more than that though.
Was it easy for you to do that transition? Has it been hard? It seems like it was kind of smooth. Like it happened pretty fast. Was it easy for you?
It was pretty smooth. I will say that it was pretty smooth. I had the opportunity. I set out a year in 2017, and during that year, again, Bill and his coaching staff allowed me to come up and go into coaching meetings, different things like that. And then that was the summer. And then that fall is when I started coaching at UNC Charlotte. So it was a pretty smooth transition for me in terms of, like I said, towards the end of my career, I was already pretty much doing those things anyway. So to be able to sit out a year and have that experience and then start on the collegiate level, it kind of just like guided me towards where I am now, right? I was assistant there, then I went to assistant in the WNBA, and now so forth.
With such a lengthy career that you've had, you had to have done a lot of things right, both on and off the court. Looking back as a former player, a lot of these young women are coming out of college. They need examples. In your opinion, why is it so important to lead by example? And what advice can you give to up and coming players when it comes to taking care of your body and doing things right on and off the court?
Yeah, I think it's super important. We, especially as Black women, as Black coaches, myself, that's in this league now, Noelle, Vicki Johnson, right? We're Black women who are head coaches in this league. I think it's really important because we have a different responsibility, right? Our league is majority made up of Black women. So being an example and allowing them to see that they can come up through this league and be able to have this position, I think is a really important role for us to play. And just in general, I think, I say this all the time to younger players, your reputation precedes you. No matter where you go, your reputation will go before you. Any job that you do, any team that you go play for, the first thing coaches are going to do is call people up who've been in contact with you, who've has been able to coach you, played with you, different things like that, just to get the skinny information and knowledge on who you are as a person. So how you represent yourself, how you characterize yourself, I think is really, really important, and it's going to take you really far. It can go either way, right? It can take you far, or it can really kill your career. So having a great understanding of that and who you are and how you represent yourself is really important.
And you kind of led into my next question. As an African American woman, and as an African American and as a woman in this league, and then coming to a city like Atlanta, where it's called like the Black Mecca. There's so many, Black people here in this city doing a lot of great things. Your presence represents a lot to so many. And I kind of want you to expand on why that means so much, and coming to a city like Atlanta, the importance of the role to young women and girls and even young men in this country and in this city.
Yeah, I think being the head coach for the Atlanta Dream, for me, it allows me to give back to the WNBA, right? To whom much is given, much is required. This league has given me so much. And so to have the opportunity to be able to give back to this league by being impactful and influencing young people, particularly young Black women, right? But young women in general for our league is always going to be super important. And then the relationship with the community, right? Atlanta is a huge community, and so we want to be able to be representative of the community, right? Representation matters. So when we look back and we say however many years from now, we want to say that the Atlanta organization represented the community very, very well, right? We were in the community, we gave back to the community. We have a responsibility to do that for the fans, for the girls, for our league, all these different aspects. And I think so being a head coach in Atlanta, it gives you an opportunity to really dig into those areas.
Now, the Atlanta Dream, I think, the city of Atlanta, I think, has kind of coined the term culture, and we've kind of taken it and adapted it on. And the Dream we are a team that's searching for a lot of culture right now, and just trying to make sure that we implement the right culture.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most notable things that we've done in the past years, the 2020 ESPN Sports Humanitarian Award, winners of that award, huge deal for our work in social justice efforts in this past year. When it comes to what you've learned about culture and the things you've taken away from other coaches, what do you think, or what do you anticipate will be the most challenging part of implementing a new culture here in Atlanta?
Well, to be honest with you, my number one priority, right, as a head coach, is to make sure I change the culture. I think in order to grow a culture and to change a culture, it starts with the people, right? One, I think the organization has done a great job, first and foremost, of setting that example, right, with the people, with the hirings that they're making, right? You talk about Morgan coming in from the Falcon side, myself, just Larry, Suzanne, Renee. When you look from the top to the bottom right now, we have culture people. And so that's the number one thing that they're doing and that we're going to be doing, is surrounding ourselves with people who epitomize the things that we want to see in the organization, right? Supportive staff that share the same ideals of accountability, integrity, high character people. That's how you change. That's how you change a culture. Is by bringing in people that represent the ideals of what you want to see in the vision and the foundation of what you want to see for your organization.
How proud of you, or how proud were you to see the Atlanta Dream on that stage at the ESPN Awards? Like, what went through your mind seeing that WNBA team that affected so much change and our policies and our politics? How'd that make you feel?
I mean, listen, excited that it was the Atlanta Dream, but even more proud that the WNBA had a huge part of that. The women of our league, and this league has been empowering women for the last 25 years. And that was just another example of us stepping up to the plate, right? Proving that this league is important, that this league is relevant, that this league matters, right? Because that was the epitome of what this league represents. Women using their voices and their platform to really propel change and affect change in our society. So super proud of the Atlanta Dream, but also super proud of the WNBA and the women that represent the WNBA that really made a concentrated effort and conscious effort to affect change. And it did in a huge way.
Yep. Super proud of this team. Well, Coach, I am excited to have you here. When it comes to your family and friends, are you going to be missing anybody? Anybody relocating with you? How's the planning of the move coming along?
The amount of phone calls and messages and texts that I received the last 24 hours has been amazing, an outpouring of love. I am sure that there will be lots of friends and family, especially for that first Atlanta home game. So, I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm super excited for the opportunity to be the next head coach for the Atlanta Dream and what we can build together. I think that it'll be something super, super special. And I'm looking forward to the fans and the community really embracing this new culture and this new way of doing things in Atlanta.
Any sites you want to see? You want to go see a Braves game or the aquarium or Coca-Cola, anything that's on your radar?
Excuse me. I think I'll take it all in. I'll be able to get down there and experience. I live in Charlotte though, so I'm not far from Atlanta. I'm not unfamiliar with Atlanta. I've spent some time in Atlanta. I have some friends and family in the area too. So I've been to the museum. I mean, to the aquarium. I've been to the Martin Luther King Museum as well. So I've been around a little bit, but I'm looking forward to taking it all in and really enjoying the experience.
Well, I appreciate your time. I hope that you feel better. And I'll leave you on this. So my last question for you is, who you got, Phoenix or Chicago?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just hoping that it's an amazing series. I think it's great for women's basketball. Right? I mean, Phoenix has won what, 3? This will be their 4th. Chicago is their 2nd time, I think, in the finals. So I'm just hoping for just continued great basketball, that they give the fans everything that they're looking for in the series. So whoever wins, they both are very deserving. They put in the work. They made it this far, and just looking for a really good series.
Awesome, Coach. Well, thank you so much for your time and welcome. It is so good to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the nice welcome.